Kamala Vishwambharau Dvijavarau Yugadharma Palau Vande Jagat Priyakarau Karunavatarau. So we are today beginning the study and relishing the essence of Mahaprabhu's teaching, which is the essence of all teachings actually. In order to invoke the blessings and the happiness of the Divine Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared along with Nityananda Prabhu. The Nityananda Prabhu is the original Guru Tattva. And that's why the author of Caitanya Bhagavat, who is also celebrated or acknowledged as the Vyasadeva of Chaitanya Leela. He begins Chaitanya Bhagavat with this invocation, Ajanu Lambita Bhujau Kanakavadatam. How glorious. Vande Jagat Priyakarau Karunavatarau. Jagat Priyakarau means the benefactors of the entire world. Bringing unlimited good fortune. Jagat Priyakarau. What is doing Priya means something very desirable to the world, means bringing the unlimited good fortune. They came with the ultimate good fortune for the living entities. And remembering the Lord in that spirit will definitely make us feel His special divine blessings and the feeling of His being pleased because Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared with a special desire to be fulfilled. So if we participate, and we show our, or we express our glorification, express our appreciation for His descent. So that's why He says, which we can all say, can feel that I worship their lordships, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. And they are glorified like that. Ajanu Lambita Bhujau, whose long arms extend down to their knees. Ajanu Lambita Bhujau, Kanakavadatam, whose beautiful complexions are radiant yellow like molten gold. Kanakavadatam, Sankirtanaika Pitaro Kamalaya Takshav. Kamalaya Takshav. Kamala Ayata Akshav, whose two lotus eyes are elongated eyes like red lotuses. Sankirtanaika Pitaro. First time when I heard this sloka, I said, who is the fathers? Pitaro means in dual. Dvivachan. In Sanskrit, they are singular and plural, like in English and most languages. But Sanskrit, there are three: singular, dual, and the plural, like that. So because here the glorification of the two lords, that's why Vishwambharau, Dvijavarau, Yuga Dharma Palau. They are the topmost Brahmanes, the guardians of religious principles for this age, the most munificent benefactors of all living entities. Sankirtanaika Pitarau. Sankirtanaika Pitarau. So they brought forth this Sri Krishna Nama Sankirtanam. Sankirtanaika Pitarau. They're the propagators, progenitors, or the initiators, the fathers of the Sankirtan movement. And the most compassionate incarnations of Godhead. They initiated the congregational chanting of the names of Lord Krishna. So, this invocation, before we address the main subject, Sikshastakam, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the pioneer of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. And he said that I have come to inaugurate the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. And that name will reach every nook and corner of the universe. Prithivite ache jata nagaradi gram. Sarvatra prachara hoibo mora nam. Hoibe mora nam. So what is the meaning of Sankirtana? Because Sikshastakam basically is the main 8 teachings of Mahaprabhu is through Sankirtan only, because it's a glorification of the holy name. In the way the Lord relished, especially in the mood of Srimati Radharani in Gambhira in Jagannath Puri, that is very amazing, and he's demonstrating how relishable this chanting of the holy name can be and how it can bestow the ultimate greatest fortune for the living entity. And so, as intelligent being, our focus should be what is potentially the highest benefit of participating in Sankirtan movement. And just a little preface what this, how significant, what is the position of Sikshastakam in the Vedic literature. Not only merely in Gaudiya Vaishnava literature, but if we think of all the Vedic literature, Shruti, Smriti, Puranas, and entirety of Indian literature actually, the Sikshastakam issued forth from the lotus mouth of the Supreme Lord. It's a supremely radiant transcendental jewel. Sikshastakam is such a concentrated, highest level, like when we say, more concentrated the diamond, more precious it becomes, correct? Like Kohinoor. There is one criterion, many other aspects also, but this Sikshastakam, it discovers basically everything, especially with regard to the igniting or exposing the highest possible fortune for the living entity. It is the exposition of the purest form of devotional service in action. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the incarnation who delivers the fallen conditioned souls, Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatar, especially in this our present age of Kali, it directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is most known in the Vedic annals, scriptures, Puranas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna himself. How this form manifested, that Brajendra Nandan Bhagwan Sri Krishna, during his pastimes in Braja in Dwapar Yuga, by becoming overwhelmed with an intense desire to relish a particular sentiment. Krishna himself has in his Swarup as the subject of love, Vishaya. He also loves all those who love him. But a particular sentiment of someone special, Srimati Radharani. So in order to experience, because when he saw the overwhelming position of Radharani while loving him or experiencing the sweetness of his persona, the sweetness of his Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasagandha. Shabda means the sweet sound of his speech or his flute. Sparsha, the sweetness of experiencing the touch of Krishna. Seeing the sight of Krishna's form. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa. Tasting the nectar of Krishna's lotus lips. And the very intoxicating fragrance of Krishna's body. Also mixed with the sandalwood paste and also keshar, camphor, etc. So all these things, in experiencing the sweetness of Krishna, Radharani becomes overwhelmed and her position becomes very amazed, which amazes Krishna. Krishna also loves Srimati Radharani, but he thinks that the way Radharani loves him or experiencing his sweetness, his Krishna's sweetness personified, he's a personification of all bliss, all nectar, everything. Raso vai sahe, rasam hi evayam labdva anandi bhavati. So what kind of bliss Radharani experiences which causes her to become overwhelmed. So Krishna becomes very overwhelmed to see Radharani's overwhelming situation. So to relish that particular sentiment, assume the heartfelt, ecstatic mood and bodily complexion of Srimati Radharani. Because if one wants to experience what Radharani experiences, then he has to adopt the mood or the sentiment of Srimati Radharani. And along with the sentiment came the complexion of Srimati Radharani, who is the embodiment of his own pleasure potential, Hladini Shakti. And when Mahaprabhu assumed that mood and complexion of Radharani and became manifest as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu Sri Gauranga Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. Mahaprabhu, the word Maha means Mahabhav. Radharani is the embodiment of Mahabhav. Madanakhya Mahabhav. Superlative, exclusive sentiment, which overwhelms Krishna. So when Krishna assumed or adopted that Mahabhav of Radharani, then not only he became fully fulfilled, he was able to experience, although he had the knowledge that his sweetness, his madhurya is unlimited, but he could not experience himself. Only Srimati Radharani does. So when he assumed the mood of Srimati Radharani and the sentiment, he realized it's unlimited. So when a person has something unlimited at his disposal, then he can be very magnanimous. That's why Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishyam. So that's why Mahaprabhu has very liberally. So that is the mood of Srimati Radharani. Radharani, whatever she experiences, the superlative exclusive fortune which Radharani has, Of course, she shares with her confidential associates, the Manjaris and Sakhis. But when Krishna was able to experience what Radharani experiences in loving Krishna, then he was very open. So, in one sense, Mahaprabhu has come basically to glorify Srimati Radharani. Bhava Radhika Madhuri Aswadan Sukhakaj Jayati Krishna Chaitanya Jay Kali Prakate Brajaraji. Radhara Mahima Prem Rasa Sima Jagate Janate Ke. So that's why the incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his unique teachings, it is our great fortune that we are connected to his parampara and his of his teachings and the mercy which he has, the flow of mercy and the treasure of mercy he has, so unique, so unprecedented. And so we must feel very fortunate about it. So when he got his desires fulfilled, then in return he bestowed upon the entire world the gift of his holy name, because he himself experienced in divine love for him, the fortune, what he experienced. So the gifts of Mahaprabhu is the gifts of the holy name and the divine love for him. And this tradition continues. Now we see if the present time, due to the work of, most prominently due to the sacrifice and the work accomplished to Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, by executing the order of his spiritual master Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Bhakti Vinod Thakur. It was their desire that this message of Mahaprabhu is meant to spread all over the world in every town and village. That was the foretelling of Mahaprabhu, and also this was the foretelling of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And similarly, it was just a matter of time when it would just manifest. Like they have written everything. Means every foretelling of Bhakti Vinod Thakur is just manifesting. Mahaprabhu just gave one foretelling, but it just systematically, detail-wise, Bhakti Vinod Thakur has described. So although so much message, so much literature all over the world is there, but the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, when we think of what are the teachings, mainly means in writing, if we consider, so it's very astonishing that in spite of being unlimitedly qualified, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not personally write any books like spiritual teachers who propounded other opinions and different. Mahaprabhu, God himself, and came as the greatest teacher, but he did not write books. But of course, he inspired all his followers, especially the Goswamis, to write books. So this Sikshastakam, which we will be discussing in the forthcoming weeks, this is it's very essential that we can appreciate its depth and its nature. And because the whole life, if we study, it won't be sufficient. It won't suffice. Because Sikshastakam is the very essence of all the Vedas. Although Sanskrit language is very simple, Very simple. Anybody has very little basic knowledge of Sanskrit, which was very much in vogue in India in the olden days. But even today, means it's not very hard formation of the words. It's very, very simple. Although language is quite simple, but its import is so potent, so profound, that even if one studies it throughout his life, his study will not come to an end. Concentrated nectar, when like a zoom in, zoom out, it can expand to, it can encompass all the knowledge of transcendence. It's puretranscendence.com. If you want to call Sikshastakam, it's the purest exposition of transcendence to be imbibed by the living entity, to free him completely from the bondage of the three modes of material nature. Each time one reads and deliberates on this subject, newer and newer meanings come to light. It's very amazing, correct? Every time you read it again and again, something new, and different acharyas and teachers, whatever inspiration they got, and of different aspects, they added, and we have such a colossal collection of exposition on Sikshastakam. This whole, so many volumes of books have been written. Just one of the many things described in Sikshastakam. All our Goswamis and the predecessors, acharyas, following in the footsteps of Goswamis, basically they reflect only the appreciation for Sikshastakam. So we can say that it is like so amazing, because every time it appears new and fresh, because so much is there to be appreciated, and we cannot reach the end of it. That's the beauty about it. So we can say that Sikshastakam is a veritable necklace for all the Vaishnavas, especially those of us who are in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Veritable necklace means what? Veritable means as real as necklace. If somebody is given the necklace of Sikshastakam, and if he has to replace with another metal necklace, one who truly has understood the value of Sikshastakam as the veritable necklace, he will spare with any other necklace if he can, in real sense, can have Sikshastakam as the veritable necklace. So, what is in Sikshastakam? Sikshastakam basically the truth of Sambandha Gyan. Sambandha Gyan means knowledge which is relevant to the development of one's relationship with the Supreme. Jivere Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das. We know this in information as theory. 1,000 times we may have said. But this Sikshastakam, the way it is presented, if we follow its directions, and if we appreciate the directions given by our predecessor acharyas, we will find that the truths of Sambandha, our eternal relationship with the Supreme, and how to become eternally situated in that relationship. The process of abhideya, the process of devotional service, and ultimately why we follow any process, to ultimate prayojana, the ultimate goal of one's devotion. What is that? Pure love of Krishna. To experience the sweetness So all these three foundational of all teachings, Sambandha Gyan, Abhideya and Prayojan, our relationship with the Supreme and how to realize that relationship, because of our conditioned life since eternity, even our eternal nature has been forgotten, covered up. And so Sikshastakam describes that if you follow the process, Abhideya, then we can realize our samandha or eternal relationship. It can be developed. And ultimately, to what end? Why it is essential to realize our eternal loving relationship with Krishna? So that we can experience, we can develop the affinity and the appreciation, love for the Supreme Lord, the ultimate goal of one's devotion. Prayojana. Prema prayojana is the same. So basically, bhakti, abhideya gyan. Sikshastakam is basically abhideya gyan because the process is the most important thing. If we follow the process, we reach the goal. That's the purpose. So how to cause our attraction or the motivation that we really start following the process which is described in Sikshastakam. So that's why the slokas of Sikshastakam, basically they are all Abhideya Tattva. Of course, Sambandha and Prayojan, they are already included, because when you follow the process, not only you realize your Sambandha, but also you achieve the goal of following the process. So the first 5 slokas, they deal with this Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti or Sadhan Bhakti. Sadhan Bhakti has 2 aspects, no? Vaidhi Bhakti and Raga Bhakti. So first 5 slokas, they are to incorporate or to, from our conditioned state, how we incorporate, how we engage ourselves so that we become deconditioned from the material entanglement and become situated on the path of pure devotional service. Of course, from the very beginning, the following the instructions or connecting to the directions of Sikshastakam puts us on the path of pure devotional service. Because a sadhaka, even in the conditioned state, from the very moment he embarks upon this path of pure devotional service, he should be treated as pure devotee. Of course, out of humility, and one does not claim that he has become a pure devotee. But anybody who is on the path of pure devotional service, we should think of all other sadhakas on this path of pure devotional service as enunciated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers. We should think everybody is a pure devotee. Because potentially a pure devotee, potentially a gold medalist, correct? So anybody who is who has been got the admission in a very prestigious university, then definitely the goal or the final outcome would be that he or she becomes a gold medalist. So that's why those who are on this path of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, following the directions of Sikshastakam, they all should be treated, they all should be perceived, they should all should be honored. Hare Krishna. Am I audible? Hare Krishna. So first five slokas are the this sadhana bhakti. Then sixth and seventh sloka relate to bhava bhakti, which is the real bhakti. And eighth sloka, describe devotion performed on the platform of divine love, prema bhakti. So this is the structure of Sikshastakam, and the subject matter, how this Sikshastakam stands out. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he appeared, adorned with the inner sentiments and bodily complexion of Srimati Radharani, so his primary purpose was to experience. That was the primary reason why Mahaprabhu appeared. But secondarily, he also bestowed the benediction upon the world. So primarily, he came to test the ecstatic mood of Radharani's love for him, or Krishna. But simultaneously, he distributed the holy name of Krishna profusely for the deliverance of the fallen conditioned souls of this age of Kali. Holy name, common. Harinam. Harinam is translated as holy name. Well, in English, what else can we say? Holy name. Name is always holy, na? But which holy name did he distribute? We think Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But this holy name, this Mahamantra was already means available, described. Its glory is described in the scripture. It's not a new thing, already existing prior to the appearance of Mahaprabhu. The principles of Vaishnavism were established and spread all over India by the very famous stalwart, such as Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarkacharya, Vishnu Swami. The practice of bhakti even before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was prevalent. And even the chanting of Mahamantra. But this chanting and all these devotional practices, the main target was Vaikuntha. Even the name Golok Dham, etc. But basically the practice, the way it was practiced and the teachings, because to attain Golok Vrindavan, it requires a special Raga Bhakti. So that was not prevalent. So even Radha Krishna Bhakti or Sitaram, Lakshmi Narayan or any other Vishnu Bhakti, basically the chanting of the Mahamantra, etc. were directed towards the attainment of Vaikuntha. Even Srila Prabhupada says that one should, in awe and reverence, one should worship because the beginning stage, because we are not so familiar with the transcendental nature of the divine couple, So in awe and reverence, when we worship the deity, then they appear to us. They are for us like Lakshmi Narayan. Because to attain the real worship of Radha Krishna, divine couple, because they are Madhurya Murti. So the holy name is all capable. Holy name can deliver to the practitioner anything he desires. But what to desire if that desire is not even made known to anyone, So that requires special education. Only through education we can develop the desire, something which is most desirable. Correct? So unless one is infused with the highest aspiration. Now again, what is highest aspiration? Only whatever is made known to us. How we decide which is the highest? There should be some criterion or some scale through which we can say, because those who aspire for Vaikuntha or Saket Dham or Dwarka Dham, they think that is the highest, So who will be the judge? God can be the ultimate judge. So that's why Mahaprabhu came and established what is the highest achievement for the human soul as a sadhaka. Through the chanting, through this process of chanting the holy name, what is the highest thing to be aspired? Highest aspiration, unless one is infused with, then this chanting's full potential will not be realized. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's unique contribution was that he revealed the confidential loving moods of Srimati Radharani, and thus inspired the living entities to aspire for the highest attainment in accordance to our Swarupa. Like Krishna Prem is the highest goal. But in Krishna Prem also, there is a variegatedness. Krishna Prem and engagement in Krishna service and the exchange with Krishna is just not one nature. There are so many mellows, and within the mellows also different variegatedness. So the highest Mahaprabhu revealed in relation to Radharani. He inspired the living entities to aspire for the highest attainment, the spontaneous loving service of Srimati Radharani. And along with Srimati Radharani, Sri Radha Govind, Sri Radha Krishna, in Golok Vrindavan. So this is indicated as we study Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita exposes this special contribution of Mahaprabhu, where it is described that Prem Rasa Niryasa Karite Aswadan Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Karite Pracharan. So one is the primary reason of Mahaprabhu's descent is Prem Rasa Niryasa, Ashtraya Jatiya Prem, Ashtraya Vigraha is Srimati Radharani, and kind of sentiments through which she experiences the sweetness of Krishna and what kind of happiness and what. So in order to experience that, Prem Rasa Niryasa, Karite Aswadan, in order to experience that Prem Rasa, and Raga Marga Bhakti, and in order to attain the service of Srimati Radharani, attain the service of the divine couple. Because our participation or our highest achievement in accordance to our Swarupa. In Swarup, we are neither Nayak or Naika. We are not the enjoyer, Purush. But we are the Sevika. We are the Sevak, servant or the maid servant, whichever. And especially in order to achieve the highest status or highest Seva Sobhagya, highest fortune in accordance to our Swarupa, which is to achieve the most confidential service of the divine couple. So this is what Mahaprabhu has come to give. Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Karite Pracharan. Rasika Shekhare Krishna Param Karuna. Ei Dui Hetu Haite Ichha Udgam. So these two desires appear in the heart of Krishna. And it is said that man proposes, God disposes. We have heard this many times. So now, if Krishna desires something, definitely he can fulfill. Sri Krishna's desire to appear was born from these two principal causes. He wanted to test the sweet essence of the liquid mellows of divine love, prema rasa. Who experiences that? Radharani, because Radharani is the lover, Krishna is the love. So Krishna enjoys the loving sentiments of everybody. And Krishna makes everybody dance also, because Krishna thinks, oh, everybody loves me. Krishna plays the flute and he just plays many whatever thing. And, he's such a darling for the whole Braj, for the whole Vrindavan. But he wonders, wow, I think something is missing when he sees Radharani, and so that's the purpose. So he mainly came to experience his own sweetness through Radha Bhava. And he wanted to also propagate bhakti in the world on the platform of spontaneous attraction, Raga Marga. Thus he is known as a Rasika Shekhar, the topmost relisher of transcendental mellows. As a Vishay Vigraha he experienced already. But now as a Ashraya Vigraha, by adopting the mood of Srimati Radharani, he became Rasika Shekhar, the topmost relisher of transcendental mellows. And as Parama Karuna, the most merciful of all, And the chanting of the holy name must be accompanied, because the process to experience everything which Mahaprabhu has come to give us is through chanting of the holy name. At every stage of our devotional development or evolution, at every stage through chanting itself, we will experience new levels of realizations, because chanting is throughout. That's why in the third sloka of Sikshastakam, we'll find Kirtaniye Sadahari. Oth-prot hai. Chanting is like all-pervading. A person who has become situated on the transcendental platform, for him, he is being chanted every breath, because chanting is the live or practical demonstration of our loving reciprocation with the Lord. Through chanting, one can feel that reciprocation, because the name becomes vibrant. The name starts dancing not only on our tongue, but the name is just all pervades our whole existence. Bahirindriya and Antakaran, Chetahe Prangana Sangini, Vijayate, overwhelm. Take over all the senses, all the functions of the senses. The holy name is so potent. Chetahe Prangana Sangini, Vijayate, conquers. Sarvendriyanam Pritim, all the senses, external senses and also internal senses. Sarvendriyanam Pritim, no jane janita kiyad bhir amritair Krishneti varnadvai. This two words, Krishna's name, so potent. So those who become blessed with that kind of transcendental consciousness, in pure appreciation of the holy name's sweetness, they think there is no limit. We don't know how much more sweetness these two words Krishna have. So in Sikshastakam, Caitanya Mahaprabhu has expressed the essence of his teachings. And if we chant according to the method outlined in these verses, as we'll be studying in the forthcoming days, We are assured of attaining that most precious and confidential gift which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to distribute to. We will definitely, that will be the only aspiration in our heart. How to attain the confidentiality of Srimati Radharani, how to achieve only goal, the ultimate aspiration possible. Sri Radha Dasyam. So it was the intention of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his confidential associates that his present day followers, all of us, should have access to all these wonderful teachings, and especially which are expanded on Sikshastakam, in order to firmly implant in our hearts the desire to follow in the footsteps of Krishna's eternal associates in Braja, Brajavasi, Raganuga Bhakta. And that's why what we are going to study through Sikshastakam is very, very powerful. We start with the first sloka, and very beautiful. Everybody must memorize these 8 slokas because they are as we discussed, the veritable necklace. If we recite and if we more and more as we will study, our appreciation for these teachings and the prayers would be so immense, and our fascination will keep on increasing. It's not that it's some subject matter you study and you begin and bring an end to it. It is not that kind of a study. It is its glory and its depth and its unlimited nature of transcendence, which is concentrated in the slokas, will be coming out more and more. And that's why Cheto darpan marjanam bhava maha davagni nirvapanam Shreya kairava chandrika vitarnam vidyavadhu jivanam आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृता स्वादनम् सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम्. Cheto darpana marjanam. The holy name of Krishna cleanses the mirror of the heart and extinguishes the fire of misery in the forest of birth and death. As the evening lotus blossoms in the moon's cooling rays, the heart begins to blossom in the nectar of the holy name. And at last, the soul awakens, Anandam Buddhivardhanam, to its real inner treasure, a life of love with Krishna. Again and again, tasting nectar, the soul dives and surfaces in the ever-increasing ocean of ecstasy, joy. Sarvatmasnapanam param vijayate. All phases of the self of which we may conceive are fully satisfied and purified. And at last, conquered by the all auspicious influence of the holy name of Krishna. That means we become conquered. We become drowned in the all auspicious love flow, which is coming forth from the chanting of the holy name, Krishna. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has also given very elaborate description describing the glories and the depth of this Sikshastakam. So he says, let there be supreme victory for the chanting of the holy name. Because if the chanting of the holy name, which is the Yuga Dharma, if it becomes victorious, means the purpose for which Mahaprabhu came is fulfilled. Na? That's why victory. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So let there be supreme victory for the chanting of the holy name of Sri Krishna alone, which cleanses the mirror of the heart and completely extinguishes the blazing forest fire of material existence. Sri Krishna Sankirtana diffuses the soothing moon rays of spiritual ecstasy, bhava, that causes the living entities white lotus of good fortune to blossom. All this direct translation appears like codes, So much elaboration, so much expansion we will be studying, relishing. The holy name is the life and soul of transcendental knowledge, which is here compared to a wife, Vidyavadhu, Jivanam. It continuously expands the ocean of transcendental bliss, enabling one to taste complete nectar at every step. The holy name of Sri Krishna thoroughly cleanses and cools the self, one's nature and one's determination, as well as the body, both internally and externally. Such is the influence, all-encompassing, all-drowning influence of the holy name. One can become blessed to experience to that level. And so we should not remain underachiever. Even if we participate in chanting the holy name, it is our duty. It is as a follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is our obligation to appreciate the depth and the pricelessness of the gift which Mahaprabhu has come to give. And through the study of Sikshastakam systematically, we will all hope to become fully blessed. Correct? So here, if we, all our teachings, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan, all the teachings of Mahaprabhu, even the most internal, most confidential or ultimate aspirational thing, they are all based on Srimad Bhagavatam. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, basically, we find in second canto, Lord Brahma is establishing the highest goal of for the human society, for the sadhaka. And he's very contemplative. They describe that when he, using his 4 brains, Manisha, Brahmaji is at least 4 times more intelligent than all of us, correct? Because he has 4 heads. So basically, Brahmaji was contemplating that how can there be any real benefit, real joy, happiness, fulfillment. Real means eternal, not temporary, coming and going. The very thing which makes you feel happy temporarily, once it is gone, it becomes the cause of misery because it causes vyasana. Vyasana means without which you cannot live. Padayor vyasanardana. Vyasana, something, if something is not available all the time, so unlimited, then it can become very miserable, correct? So Vyasan literally means without which you cannot live. Vyasan is another name for anartha. Anartha means which makes one so miserable, without which you cannot live. Mm. If somebody has the vyasan or the habit of drinking or some other thing, smoking or tea, coffee, if they become so addicted to it, without which they become very miserable. And sometimes if it is not available, then what happens? And even if it is available, it causes so much, it harms the body and the mind so much in the long term, that now you cannot live without it and you also cannot have it. What a miserable situation. So Lord Brahma is very much concerned how the living entities who are oblivious to the Lord, because the Lord, Supreme Lord, is the source of all bliss, source of ultimate benefit, joy. Raso vai saha, rasam hi evayam labdva anandi bhavati. Why they have become oblivious to the Lord? Having fallen into the cycle of repeated birth and death in material existence. Material existence means forgetfulness of the Supreme. And if one forgets the Supreme, means cannot become connected to the Supreme. And without becoming connected to the Supreme, one cannot really experience any real joy or happiness. No benefit whatsoever. So Brahma became preoccupied with this question: how the human society, the living entities who are forgetful of Krishna, how the ultimate fortune can come in their lives. So preoccupied with this question, Brahmaji, who knows the fundamental truths regarding the Lord, thought long. He went into meditation, contemplation, to find a solution. What way, what means, if employed the ultimate fortune of the living entity, especially in the human form of life, especially the sadhaka, and the scriptures are the guiding. All the scriptures, all the education institutes, everything, the target is human being. Do you know that? All the scriptures, their target is not Krishna or not anything. Target of the scriptures is the human being, sadhaka. All the education is for the human being only, for no one else. And that's why Brahmaji is very concerned that although this human being is endowed with intelligence, but he needs help. So naturally, those who can think, these are the great men, these are the quality of great men. They're just saying, great men, great people talk about ideas for the benefit of others. The average people talk about things. Okay, apna apna kaam karo. But the small people, they talk about other people because they don't have anything to talk about their own interest. So they end up talking about others. But the great personalities like Brahma is one of the Mahajanas. And he's wondering how I can help, because he knows his connection with the Supreme Lord. But to cause that connection, loving connection with the conditioned souls, what means should be employed? So with resolute attention, he scrutinized all the Vedas 3 times. And by his intelligence, he concluded that the topmost perfection of religion, what is the topmost perfection of religion? Savai punsam paro dharmo yato bhakti adhokshaje. Bhakti means love, adhoksha to the Supreme. So Brahma established that topmost perfection of religion is that by which one can obtain exclusive love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Bhagavan Brahma Kasnena. Kasnena means completely. Trid Avikshya Manishaya, with his great intelligence, 3 times he scrutinized all the Vedas. And what he ascertained? Tad adhyavashyate kutastho, with concentrated focus, considering all this, comparing, where there's so many means to achieve so many goals. But what goal or what would be for the ultimate benefit of the human being? So we ascertain that the topmost perfection of religion is that by which one can obtain exclusive love for Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So this is the topmost perfection of religion. Love of God, that is a prayojan. Now, how to achieve that prayojan? So this contemplation on the part of Brahmaji, this conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam clearly establishes that only devotion to achieve the love of God, what is the means? Only devotion unto the Supreme Lord. न यन्यतो शिवः पंथा विशते संसिताव्यः वासुदेवे भगवती भक्ति योग यतो भवेत्. Only by becoming engaged in the devotional service, loving devotional service for Vasudev, it is possible to achieve the highest, topmost perfection, that is love of God. So this Bhaktiyo Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chetad Ahitukam. Such a lofty Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. And what is this effect? Janayati Ashu Vairagyam. It frees us from so many entanglements. It causes detachment from so much entanglement, worldly entanglement. When we experience the performance of devotional service to Lord Krishna, Janayati Ashu Vairagyam. Why? Why detachment from so many things which we have? It's very difficult to give up the things of our attachment. But when one is able to experience the beauty or the sweetness of devotional performance, Jnanam Chetadahi. Jnana means experience. Ahetuki Jnana means pure devotional service. Jnanam Chetad Ahetukam. So by performing this Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Naudha, Bhakti, etc., very performance gives such a blissful experience. Why one would aspire for anything else? Everybody is endeavoring to experience the bliss. The very performance of pure devotional service of Krishna gives us so much, it causes so much experience. Ahetuki Jnana. Ahetuki means, like Jnana, it is hetu to attain moksha. People become jnanis to attain liberation, etc. But ahetuki Jnana, or the experience, the very performance, if it is so relishable, why one would aspire for anything else? So Jnanam Chetad Ahetukam. But this very nice description. But this pure devotional service, the devotion of Krishna, which we are glorifying, and it has the effect to cause detachment from all worldly objects of attachment, and it makes you experience such bliss of Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Lila. What is Ahetuki Jnana? To be able to experience the sweetness, unlimited sweetness of Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Lila Dhama Parikar Abharana. What else one would desire anymore? Of course, in Sadhaka it is said that Anya Bhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. One should not hanker for anything when we perform pure devotional service. Anya Bhilashita Shunyam. We should become free from all other hankerings like that. But in real sense, the performance of pure devotional service is so blissful that one will automatically give up hankering for anything else. But that kind of bhakti As Rupa Goswami described, Hari Bhakti Sudurlabha, it is very rare. This bhakti is extremely rare. It is obtainable only by special Shraddha, because bhakti ultimately is gauged to the scale of our faith. Paramarthiki Shraddha. The Paramarthiki Shraddha, through satsang and through the study of scriptures, they are also of two kinds. One is Shastrarth, as we faithfully imbibe and accept the directions, injunctions of the scriptures, there is faith. Faith that brings about engagement in the path of bhakti inspired by the governing principles of the scriptures. Vaidhi bhakti, by the vidhi. Vidhi means by the command of the shashan, rule of the scriptures. When we become inspired to adopt a devotional culture, that is one Shraddha. And second is Bhagavat Leela Madhurya Lobhamayi Shraddha. When we happen to hear the sweet times of the Supreme Lord, and we find our attraction to be able to deal with the Supreme Lord. How wonderful it would be to be in the association of the Lord and relish the loving exchange between Krishna and his devotees. So faith, this is the faith which brings about engagement in bhakti due to intense longing, love. We want to be like that. Arisen out of some extreme good fortune by hearing about the unparalleled sweetness of Krishna's pastimes. Now this is the information, but what is really required, how this information becomes practicalized or imbibed in our system, that we become activated. So it is described that even if one of these two kinds of faiths arises, like faith for unalloyed devotional service, Shuddha Bhakti. Although we may have gained the faith through our culture, through our sanskara, we are born in a culture society where this Vedic scriptures, literatures, we happen to hear, and we also do sadhu sang, etc. So either we develop this faith through the scriptures or through hearing the spontaneous loving pastimes of the Lord. Whichever faith we achieve, but this pure devotion can develop only by continuous engagement in pure Hari Katha, in the form of hearing and chanting, in the association of the pure devotees. That is, otherwise, without that Caitanya Sadahari, or like Srila Prabhupada says, that one has to become engaged in pure devotional service 24/7. If it does not remain, if our engagement in devotional fervor does not remain continuous, then it may fall apart. Only by continuous engagement in pure. So if one does not regularly engage in such Hari Katha, so satsang, in the association of saintly persons, what happens? The faith will gradually dwindle and then vanish altogether. In Srimad Bhagavatam, various places it is described, Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti hrit karna rasayana kathaha tad joshanadashu apavarga vartmani shraddha ratir bhakti anukramisha. So this is a gradual process. We must understand, And we will also discuss how this in this gradual process we must follow. There is no shortcut to following the injunctions of the scriptures and the directions, and our somehow come to the platform where we are able to remember, or we are able to feel the vibrations of satsang, association, and this hearing and chanting and remembering become so, we feel such influence on our consciousness 24/7. This is how it will, this is how we can remain completely tuned into the pure devotional fervor 24/7. So in the association of saintly persons, one has the opportunity to hear narrations that illuminate. This is the Kapil Bhagwan telling his mother, Devhuti, that in the association of saintly persons, my glories, narrations, one has the opportunity to hear narrations that illuminate my glories and that are very pleasing to both the ear and the heart. By such engagement, by such culture, Tat Joshanad Ashu, very quickly, by such engagement in hearing and chanting, saturated with love, Apavarga Valtmani, the thing which caused our material bondage, Bhava Bandhan, ignorance, that ignorance is immediately destroyed, and faith, Shraddha, Rati, intense longing, loving attachment, Rati, and devotion on the platform of divine love, Prema Bhakti, develop one after another, like another elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam describes how this Bhakti Pareshanu Bhavo Viraktir Anyatra Chaisya Trika Eka Kala Prapadya Manashe Yathasnasa Shur Tushti Pushti Shuddh Pasu Tushti Pushti or Shuddha Pasu Bhava. So this practice of devotional service, it causes three things. No? Bhakti Pareshanu Bhavo, experiencing the supreme, the sweetness of his Nam Rupa Gundlila. Pare, Pareshanu Bhava, experiencing the transcendental or the sweet nature of the Supreme. Bhakti Pareshanu Bhavo Viraktir Anyatra, and detachment from elsewhere, unwanted thing. Bhakti Pareshanu Bhavo Viraktir Anyatra Chesha Trika Ekakala. So this devotion itself, and experiencing the Supreme, and the detachment from the unwanted things. All these three things appear, manifest, or become experience simultaneously. Three ekakala, just as the example is given, just as a hungry person, when takes a morsel of food, tushti, pushti, shuddha pasan, then he is not only he becomes satisfied, tushti, pushti, he becomes nourished. Okshuddha pasa, he becomes free from the hunger. So that is the nature of this participation in bhakti process. So the glories of pure Sankirtan, which are described in this first sloka, because pure Sankirtan or Samyak Sankirtan, pure Sankirtan means which will cause its ultimate potential effect, pure love of Godhead. So that's the very first thing spoken of in the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because the chanting of Krishna's holy name is the very identity of all auspiciousness. The word param has been utilized. Param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. The word param meaning supreme. So pure Sankirtan, pure Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, which is obtained in the progressive stage, our conditional stage, starting with Adav Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha Ruchi, all this, correct? So one goes to these stages. So it does not refer to Hari Kirtan that is within the jurisdiction of, because in the society we find people perform Sankirtan with many ulterior motives. They are mere resemblance or semblance of devotion there. Anywhere people just gather and chant like we see many places. But the Sankirtan which Mahaprabhu has come to give is the purest, to cause the purest effect in our life. Why should we remain underachiever? Just because the glories of Sankirtan is described in the scriptures, so if it can give the highest benefit, then why should we not aspire for the highest benefit? Why should we become distracted and just very just reflection of bhakti, So that is devotion that is undertaken by persons whose sole motivation is to attain liberation, bhog tyaga, to attain the some material sense gratification, bhukti, in this world or in the heavens, or to attain liberation or promotion to the heavenly planets. So if the Sankirtan is performed with those motives, so it is not the pure. But in Sikshastakam, what we will study is like the practitioner. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing his hankering for the ultimate thing. Mahaprabhu himself is the ocean of mercy, but he's appearing, is demonstrating the hankering for a sadhaka. So much sweetness, so much love, so much joy, so much loving connection with the divine. And so why should one settle for anything less? So for bhakti sadhaka, these directions and instructions of Sikshastakam is going to be very, very revolutionary. Viplav in his heart it will cause. Not only one will be ignited in one's samandha gyan, but naturally he will be inspired to follow the abhidaya, the process of devotional life. And ultimately his fascination to achieve the ultimate goal of one's devotion. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Lord of all and whose lotus feet are constantly served by pure Vaishnavas, says Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So in order to, in other words, let there be supreme victory only for the chanting of the holy name of Sri Krishna. So first that victory we have to experience in our life, individually and collectively, in whichever Sangha we are, in Sajatiya Sangha, we must be able to experience the complete supreme victory through this participation of the Sankirtan movement of Mahaprabhu. So, as we study, somebody may ask this question, can this Krishna Sankirtanam, which is so lofty, so transcendental, and beyond the range of the illusory potency, Maya, become victorious in this present material world? We see the nature of this material world, created by the external energy Maya. So the answer is yes. This is the real potency of, this is the potential potency of Sankirtanam. Even in this illusory material world, Sri Krishna Sankirtan can be thoroughly victorious. How is it? That is the discussion. That is a discussion we will elaborate. But basically, to just become very clear as to where do we stand, what is our nature as a living entity, the process by which Hari Kirtan becomes successful for for the living entity. That is the most important thing, We can discuss so many things and everything, and if we forget ourselves, forget oneself, Have you heard that that 10 people are standing and one person he has to count, He counts everyone except himself. He forgets, The 10 of us, okay, how many you are? We count everybody except oneself. So that is not good. So the process of this Hari Kirtan becomes successful for the living entity. How? We must appreciate that our Swarupa, in identity, we are the marginal potency of Krishna. Just as the sun's rays are covered by the clouds, the living entities are covered by the influence of illusion, maya, or ignorance. This point, because philosophical understanding about our Swarupa and what are our options, this is very, very essential to have a very clear-cut understanding of our passage on this path of pure devotional service. Avidya, covered by the influence of illusion, maya, or ignorance. How is it possible, one wonders, for a conscious living entity to be covered by matter? We have been hearing this, trying to understand it. If we are conscious being and inert matter, how can it cover us? Of course, we are very tiny, and material nature is very humongous. So the tiny living entity, us, we can become overwhelmed by its influence. Sometimes, have you seen when we see the vast expanse, sky, or many years ago, about 40 years ago, we went to Empire State Building in New York. And there the top floor is covered by the windows because open without any glass window, if one looks at bottom, it becomes such a overwhelming thing. Something of that nature, that the material energy is so expansive that it can overwhelm us. But still, the question is, how is it possible for a conscious living entity to be covered by matter? So this is the potency of Krishna. Now, we see application of the principle of aghatan ghatan patiyasi, Krishna's yoga maya, Krishna's shakti, inconceivable. That which is impossible is made possible by the Lord's inconceivable potencies. Our position is very tiny, infinite simul, living entity manifested by the Tatastha Shakti. Krishna Tatastha Shakti, and we are just individual, we are just very minute part of Tatastha Shakti, marginal potency of Krishna. So by Krishna's inconceivable potency, the Tatastha Shakti of the Lord, the living entity, becomes covered by Maya on account of being an instrument for the Lord's pastimes in the matter of the material creation. Why I deliberately brought this point today? Because everything which is happening is by the will of the Lord, without his sanction, nothing can happen. So even the living entity, by his constitutional position, cannot not serve the Lord directly or indirectly. Krishna has three primary energies, and through three energies, he has three kinds of leelas. Through his Swarup Shakti, internal potency, this is called Nitya Leela. The Vaikuntha planets, Golok, Vrindavan, etc., they are manifested, eternally existing. Then through Krishna's this external energy, the Srishti Leela, and by employing the conditioned souls or the Tatastha Shakti, living entities, they go Sansara Leela. So, the Lord's functions, he's engaging everything through these, in these three Leelas, participation. So, whether the living entity is the marginal potency, we are part and parcel of the marginal potency. And under any circumstance, we are only following Krishna's agenda, Krishna's will. Even that minute free will which we discuss so often, but that free will, even utilization in any way, we end up serving Krishna's cause only, if not directly, but indirectly. So, and through this Srishti Leela or Sansar Leela, Krishna is again and again providing us the opportunity, the option for the direct service, as long as we remain engaged in this material realm, and covered over by the influence of the material matter, because Krishna is able to perform his pastimes in its material nature, and that way he can attract the living entities, however entangled in this material energy. Krishna loves to demonstrate the superior potency or higher potency of his yoga maya in this material world, in which the living entities are entangled in the Mahamaya. So yan martya lilopayikam swayoga maya balam darshayita grihitam vismapanam swasya sobhaga riddhe param padam bhushana bhushanangam. So this is like Krishna's pastime, Krishna does anything for his own pleasure to increase the variegatedness, or to sustain the possibility of his ever-increasing joy. This conditions also, or the marginal potency, all of us, we are playing some role in this Krishna's creation Leela. And in this material existence, under the influence of three modes of material nature, in this world only Krishna appears and demonstrates the potency or the power of his superior Yogamaya. And the living entities get the opportunity to become attracted to Krishna through satsang, through the association. And because in this material world itself, we find pure devotees, sadhakas become pure devotees, and this parampara exists in this material world only. So Krishna creates the opportunity through his incarnating in his many forms. He gives the opportunity to the living entities. And pure devotees and their parampara provide the satsang for the conditioned souls. So the ultimate difference maker in our life would be the satsang. And through satsang, we we get this opportunity to develop desire to come in the direct service of Krishna. Direct service means to join Krishna's service in the eternal realm, to become under the shelter of the Swarup Shakti. We are under the shelter, we are under control of external energy of Krishna. But Krishna, through his incarnation and through his the parampara of his pure devotees, he provides all of us conditioned souls the opportunity, if we wish, to join Krishna in his eternal realm. So the option for direct service is always made available, continually arranged for all of us. So from that point of view, if we develop the appreciation for Krishna, that because we have so far become so much used to live in this conditional life, and we think this is life, this is joy, and we have found our resolve in this. No matter how much miseries come, we think, okay, after misery some happiness will. So the hope of happiness in this material world, which is the due to our ignorance, and ignorance people so much adjust with in the hope of so-called happiness. But there is, Lord Krishna says, dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Krishna says, no, don't cultivate that hope, wrong hope. This is the realm of dukkha. And if somebody says, no, I'm not miserable, I'm doing fine. So comparatively, if somebody thinks, oh, I'm not that bad, but if he thinks he's not, the situation is very much in his control, health-wise, and so many things bothering in this world. Krishna says, ashashvatam. If things are not bothering you at present, but it's just matter of time, things will go against. So dukkhalam ashashvatam. Through satsang, if we can appreciate this instruction of Krishna, then naturally we will definitely be prepared to look for the ultimate or the better option. And better option is how we can achieve the status, how we can have the existence where we don't face the inabilities of this present experience of going through the birth, old age, disease, and death. And the possibility of life free from all these drawbacks is possible. So that's why when he establishes through satsang his relationship with the Swarup Shakti, the external potency in the form of ignorance is dissipated. As a result, he is liberated from the material condition and becomes situated in his pure constitutional form, Shuddha Swarupa. So the process of conquering illusion, the living entity bewildered by Maya so far is crushed again and again by the miseries of material existence. And eventually becoming exasperated with these miseries, he may obtain the service or the association of saintly persons who are not entangled, who are not hankering to for so-called happiness in this material world, but those who have experienced the real joy of the Sankirtana. So the ultimate liberation from this material entanglement comes when what comes in association of pure devotees who are liberated. So that is the great fortune. And this is the great fortune we must all experience, that since eternity, if we have remained entangled in this material samsara of birth, old age, disease, and death, now in this lifetime, through the culture of this satsang or association through the parampara of pure devotees, and especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching, and who has given us the aspiration to become a maid servant of Srimati Radharani. This kind of exposition, our potential, the ultimate highest perfection of our human potential, if we are discussing, this is a great news. This is a great inspiration. So that is the ultimate benefit we are looking forward to. So in Sikshastakam, in first slokas, the 7 excellent results of Sri Krishna Sankirtan is described as we discussed, because what we read just in translation, they are like quotes, but they have to be decoded, they have to be elaborated upon. Cheto darpana marjanam, cleansing the mirror of the heart. Let us see how much time we have today. Okay, we will cover half of this because this first sloka of Sikshastakam, the 7 aspects. So the first 4, they are like the means how to achieve, and the later portion is the very end, what we experience. So in the first sloka, the first line says, Cheto darpanamarjanam, cleanses the mirror of the heart. What does it mean? Cheto darpanamarjanam, the truth concerning the identity of the living entity is disclosed. The conclusion. Cheto darpanamarjanam, that this chanting of the holy name, what it does? The chanting of the holy name, because we have spiritual identity, no? So spiritual identity, then it consists of its pure ego, pure consciousness, and spiritual body. So Cheto Darpan Marjanam, here the heart has been compared to the mirror. Cheto Darpan Marjanam. Just as one's face cannot be seen in a dirty mirror covered by dust, the living entity cannot see his actual form in the heart that is contaminated by the filth of ignorance. When the practice of bhakti predominated by the Hladini potency of the Lord begins, one engages in the process of Shravanam, hearing. Thereafter, Sri Krishna Sankirtana automatically appears and thoroughly cleanses the filth of ignorance. Now, this is the thing. Cheto Darpana Marjanam, this participation in this chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What is its influence? Cheto Darpana Marjanam. So, comparing the heart or the chitta, antakaran, with a mirror. So whatever comes in front of the mirror, it becomes seen. But if the mirror is covered by the dust of ignorance, unwanted or asat desires due to the previous sanskaras of previous births, what happens then? The thing which is closest to the heart cannot be seen because it is covered with the dust over it. Think of what is the closest thing to the heart? Can one think? What is the closest thing to the heart? The thing which is all pervading. would be the closest to anything. So if our heart is compared to a mirror, so what thing should be reflected in the heart, which is closest? And closest thing is Krishna, or Krishna's dham. Abode of Krishna is the closest thing. So when the dust or the ignorance is removed through the Sankirtan, Sankirtan also is a primary thing in satsang. Satsang without Sankirtan is incomplete. So this chanting of the holy name, when we participate, then what happens? Our eternal identity is ignited. That I am the eternal servant of Krishna. And our hankering to attain his association is ignited. Unwanted desires, unwanted conditioning, it becomes removed. So if the dust is removed from the mirror, from our heart or from our antakaran, asat desires and hankerings, then what happens? The pure hankering, pure ego. So who is the closest to the heart? Krishna is the closest to the heart. It's fighting in our heart. In the dham, Krishna, just as Krishna is all pervading, Krishna's abode is also all pervading. So that becomes manifest in the heart. And as we see Krishna, then also we realize ourselves also. That's why Srila Prabhupada says, self-realization follows God realization, because Krishna is all-pervading. So the all-pervading thing is closer to the mirror than any other material thing, including dust. So even if there is a dust on the mirror, between the dust and the mirror is also Krishna. So when the dust is removed through this purification process of chanting, then what we see? Krishna closest to our heart, and in the presence of Krishna, we also see ourselves. Just as when sun comes out, not only the darkness is removed, so what we see the sun, and in the sunlight, in the sunshine, we also see ourselves. That's why self-realization follows God realization. Without becoming enlightened with the concept of who Krishna is, God, we don't exist, or we don't gain any identity independent of Krishna. We don't exist in isolation. We don't exist by ourselves. Krishna is the source of our existence. We owe our existence to Krishna. So this chanting is so powerful that it frees us from all the misidentification. Whatever we think we have been thinking, it frees us from ignorance, and it situates us in our pure identification as an eternal loving servant of Krishna. So something which is very closest to us, it will be reflected, and Krishna is most beautiful. So if the most beautiful person becomes reflected closest to us in the heart, how can we not fall in love with him? So that is the idea. So Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhav Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. So all the threefold miseries, they become removed. Why this Bhav Mahadavag, this sansar, our entanglement in this sansar, this realm of birth, old age, disease and death, is compared to Mahadavag Nirvapanam. The living entity is entangled in this material world to such an extent that it does not have the capacity to free himself. Why it is compared to Mahadavagni? Because just as Mahadavagni, or the Davagni, the forest fire, in the forest, what happens? Nobody comes from outside to ignite fire in the forest. The forest fire is ignited by itself through so much wind is blowing, and so many trees are just rubbing against each other, and somehow that fire just explodes on itself. So in the same way, living entities, no outsider, he himself is the cause of his this burning, this entanglement, because of his purva sanskaras, because of his a collection of so many unwanted desires, unwanted things. He's so trapped into the sansara vasana. And nobody from outside also comes, if the forest catches fire, it becomes so wild. No means can extinguish it. Now if some great pouring from the sky, Bhav Maha Davagni Nirvapanam. In the same way, the worldly advice or people give, oh, don't worry, things will change. And, if somebody is feeling so miserable, can anybody help? All this advice and all this only participation in Sankirtan movement, the satsang. So in every satsang, our satsang is primarily this participation through chanting the holy name. And we study the glories of the holy name. How sweet, and all this discussion which we are doing, this is part of Sankirtan movement. So a person can see in this material entanglement threefold miseries: Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Daivik. Adhyatmik means his own miseries due to his own body and the mind. Adi Bhautik, miseries caused by other living entities of different sorts. Others, and miseries caused by the natural catastrophes. So many circumstances, people have to face so much misery all around the world, Such a restless place, this world, because of a threefold material miseries. And so this world is not our real shelter. This is a foreign land. This is not our eternal shelter. That understanding we come to through this satsang and participation in Sankirtan movement. So only great pouring of water can extinguish the forest fire. In the same way, this Sankirtan alone can rescue us from this pangs of material existence. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitarnam. So this brings the great fortune. Shreya means great fortune. So Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitarnam. Just as the Kamalini, the lily, blossoms in the shining rays of the moon, So this, so what is the Sankirtan does? It ignites it makes us Krishna Unmukha. We have been averse to Krishna consciousness, but the Sankirtan, participation in Sankirtan, it ignites our interest in Krishna. It ignites our vasana of service to Krishna. When we realize that we are part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is the object of our love, and Krishna is, we become inclined towards service towards him. So the Sambandha Gyan, our eternal relation with Krishna, is appreciated, and we become so enthused to become situated in eternal loving relation with Krishna. So the Sankirtan is like like the rays of the moon which blossom the lily of our highest Shreya, ultimate good. And then it is also described as Vidyavadhu Jivanam. It is a life of all transcendental knowledge. Knowledge means which gives the solution to our life's problem. Vidya. So ultimate knowledge is the devotional service. So this pure devotional service compared to the Vadhu or the wife. It is a very life of it. Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. So when the pure devotional service, like Vadhu is newlywed wife, it's very, very soft spoken, very, very good natured, sweet spoken, but always concealing her inner motive, does not expose. Exposes only to the husband. So that becomes the nature of a sadhaka. A Sankirtan effect is inculcated in our life, and as we imbibe the beauty of Sankirtan, its effect we experience. So today, I think due to time, we'll stop here, and we will discuss the remaining portion of Sikshastakam and many other things. But today I wanted to establish the foundation of how far this Sankirtan, this Sikshastakam preaching will take us. We are simply just honoring our subservience and anugatya of our previous acharyas, and we are just trying to appreciate and gain our appreciation for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his teachings. And in the process, if it is helping many of us, it is very good. So today we can stop here. If still some questions or something some would like to share or say, we can welcome. So next Wednesday we will try to enhance our appreciation for the first sloka of Sikshastakam, basically glorifying or the glories of Sankirtan and how this Sankirtan coming in our lives can make us fully victorious. That is the ultimate, not only makes us victorious, but through us also cause that victory in many people who come in our life, because we are as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to distribute this and to expand this great fortune in many people's lives. So if we experience the fortune coming in our life, then how we cannot afford to remain miser. We must become instrument of Mahaprabhu to bring this fortune to many souls who are waiting. So that way we can always remain active and ecstatic. There's no time and space, no iota of time and space to become static and stagnant on this path. Sankirtan, its full effect will make us ever ecstatic and also cause that becoming ever ecstatic in others also. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandat Pranam. Please accept my respectful obeisances, Maharaj.
Yes, Swamini Matiyas to say. Thank you very much.
Maharaj, thank you for such a amazing, wonderful nectar on this beautiful Ekadashi and Uttarayan Tithi. Maharaj, I have two questions if I may ask now.
Please.
Maharaj, please forgive me if my question is ignorant or I'm just trying to understand certain things. So Maharaj in this session mentioned about how Sikshastakam can take one to the highest possible potential of serving, of the servitude of Srimati Radharani. And so, if I understand it correctly, in the Rupanuga Guru Varga, is it to be understood that all the gurus in the lineage of Sri Rupa Goswami have come to give only this? If that is the case, then why is that we see that many people who are in the same Rupanuga Varga are attracted towards other forms of worship, or like they are inclined to worship Krishna in Vatsalya Rasa, or sometimes they are even inclined to worship Lord Ramchandra. So how is that we can understand that, Maharaj?
A very good question. So that's why it all depends in the association. Our appreciation for Mahaprabhu can be enhanced. Na? We are not denying that those who are followers or those who are in the lineage of Mahaprabhu, ultimate, that is the ultimate aspiration Mahaprabhu has come to give. There is no doubt about it. And the scriptures and the literature of our predecessor acharyas, Srila Prabhupada and all the previous, they are catering to that exposure only. But still, because it is very rare, that's why we establish the point is very rare. Rare because of our wrong conditioning. So even to think that I'm a devotee, But the thing is that it's very rare to become a devotee. It's very, it's like to claim anything means to make it very cheap. Just let us put it that way. ये cheap ही नहीं है. This pure devotional fervor is so rare because it is very, 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 very difficult. It's the ultimate fortune, and just having information about it doesn't mean that we own it. We have to develop the hankering for it. And it is in the hankering, one who hankers for it, only he has it, because this hankering for pure devotional service and Radha Dashyam, its ultimate stage, it will free us from all the hankerings. So we can gauge, we can analyze our situation, what level of hankering we are stuck with in the present status. Just merely talking about or knowing that, yes, ultimate aspiration is Radha Dashyam, that doesn't mean that we are situated. We are situated only in which what we are hankering for. On the material platform, the hankering makes one miserable. But on the spiritual platform, hankering means having it. You can have it only through hankering. There is no other means. So those who don't want to hanker, let them be the way they want to live. But those who can appreciate this principle of hankering, why hankering? Because it is so rare. We haven't got it yet. So since we haven't got it yet, we also not hanker for it. We will miss it. We will lose it. Since eternity, we have been losing it, and one more lifetime it will be added to. So when we will wake up? When we will wake up to this hankering? When we will develop the attraction for this hankering or those who are hankering. So our Goswamis and all our predecessor acharyas in that special mood. Of course, Srila Prabhupada and because we are the outcome, we are the effect of Srila Prabhupada's preaching all over the world and ISKCON society and everything. Apparently, it may not appear that very openly we are propagandizing this thing, but in the internal circles, these are the things should be discussed. In the name of institutional priorities and different things, if we let this the real priority of the soul to hanker for the Radharasham, if it is not appreciated and discussed and hankered after in the inner association, especially those who are in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then we are way underperforming. Let others underperform. We are not commenting on them, but why should you underperform? Take it individually, personally. No matter uh, whatever atmosphere and we are, but how can you afford to remain underachiever and underperform? So it's very individually, it's very personal, it's a subjective path. Raga Bhakti is a very subjective, Janma koti sukrite na labhyate. If you have not developed the greed for it, if you have not developed fascination, Srila Prabhupada writes in the second last paragraph, the fascination to go to the spiritual world. We talk about so loosely, going back to Godhead, going back to Godhead. How many are really, really hankering for going back to Godhead? It's such a nice punchline, philosophizing and trying to impress that we understand. Only one who hankers understands a little bit. Without hankering, there is no understanding, no fascination for the spiritual realm, no fascination, the feeling that I can be a confidential maidservant of Srimati Radharani. It's a fascination. It's a fascination. So without fascination, there is no possibility of hankering for it. So these things remain buried, and it can take very, very long time, many, many lifetimes. My appreciation of Krishna consciousness is that those of us who are born in this holy land of India, and we are having this cultural heritage of devotion. If we appreciate Mahaprabhu, why should we wait? Srila Prabhupada, his audience was like non-culture people. They were taught ABCD from the very beginning, even the many things which are sinful. And still Prabhupada would establish the sadhana bhakti at such a pure level. It's just amazing. And for the masses, it was very essential. But Bharat bhumite hoile manushya janma jar, janma sarthak kari kar parupkar. This is the injunction of Mahaprabhu, and he said, janma sarthak kari means develop the hankering for which he has come to give. So he has exposed this highest kind of hankering. That's why in discussion with Ramanand Rai, he's saying, just continue, go further, or aage kaho, or aage kaho. First, many things he said, this is external, this is external. It's coming to ultimately the love of Srimati Radharani, but that is her exclusive bhava. But for us, how we can attain the service of Srimati Radharani when she is in that very confidential mood of serving Krishna. So Radharani is the only render of service. And we can attain Krishna service only by accepting subservience to her. राधा रानी के चरणों के आश्रय को पाके ही हम कृष्ण की सेवा कर सकते हैं. राधा रानी का सबसर्वियंस, अनुगत्य, that is the highest service, because anarpita charima chirat, these instructions, something which was not bestowed upon the human society, जो संसार को नहीं दिया गया अनंत काल से, वो क्या है? वही तो है मोस्ट इंटरनल सर्विस, most confidential service of the divine couple when they are engrossed in their love affair, love dealings, because in that highest level they become overwhelmed, they forget about, एक दूसरे के बारे में ही भूल जाते हैं ना. उस अवस्था में उनकी जो बहुत कॉन्फिडेंशियल अंतरंग सेविका हो गई ही वो सेवा, तो हाईएस्ट लेवल की सेवा जो निकुंज सेवा जो महाप्रभु ने एक्सपोज की है, लिविंग कैन पॉसिबल ओनली बाय कल्टिवेटिंग दिस हैंकरिंग टू अटेन राधा रानी का दास्यम, कैंकर्यत्व की प्राप्ति. तो ये इनर कल्टीवेशन हम पब्लिकली इसको ज्यादा अपने आपको कोई नहीं देना है कि मैं, क्योंकि इस वर्तमान शरीर दी हमारा किंकरी देह नहीं, राधा रानी की सेवा नहीं कर सकते है ना. लेकिन अंतःकरण में उस हैंकरिंग को डेवलप करना है ना. जिस प्रकार कोई व्यक्ति प्रैक्टिस या कोई साधन अपनाता है किसी चीज को अचीव करने के लिए, जब तक वो साधन पूरा नहीं होता तब तक उसे प्राप्ति नहीं होती ना. तो उसी प्रकार तो वर्तमान जीवन साधने भावी वे, जहां इस साधन काल में हमें भावना करनी है कि मैं राधा रानी की किंकरी बनूं. होइबो राधा दासी, भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर भी ये हैंकरिंग करेंगे. गाइबो राधा जश, होइबो राधा जासी, गौरव ब्रज जने भेद ना देखिबो, हईबो ब्रजवासी, धामेर स्वरूप स्फुरिबे नयने, धाम का स्वरूप मेरे अंतर्दृष्टि में स्फुरित होगा, वही दृष्टि में स्फुरित होगा, और मैं होइबो राधा दासी, तो ब्रजवासी बनकर जो हाईएस्ट एस्पिरेशन है वो राधा रानी की दासी बनने का है, भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर कह रहे हैं. और श्री प्रभुपाद जी ने चैतन्य चैतामृत के मध्य लीला के 8वें अध्याय में तुम आप 201 से 205 इन 5 श्लोकों को पढ़िए, उसमें सब मालूम हो जाएगा. ऑलराइट. तो जो हम तो इसे अंतरंग, जो भी हमारे इस्कॉन परिवार जो दीक्षित भक्त हैं या जो भी इस्कॉन के हैं, तो जो हमारे चैतन्य महाप्रभु का गौड़ीय परंपरा का जो हाईएस्ट मैसेज जो शिष्टाष्टकम के माध्यम से इसको ये पूरा होगा. तो इसमें कोई दुविधा या कोई दो मत नहीं होने चाहिए कि महाप्रभु हमें क्या देने आए हैं. हम उसकी इच्छा और उसकी हैंकरिंग, उसके प्रति फैसिनेशन हम चाहते हैं कि नहीं, ये दूसरी बात है, लेकिन इट इज अनडिस्प्यूटेबल है कि महाप्रभु तो यही देने आए है ना. हरे कृष्ण.
थैंक यू महाराज.
अब जो श्रेष्ठ चीज है इसका तो अब हर मनुष्य अपने आप को बुद्धिमान समझता है कि नहीं. अयोग्य है पुरुषो नास्ति, मनुष्य होने के नाते, साधक होने के नाते और इस्कॉन की परंपरा में होने के नाते, व्हाई शुड वी रिमेन अंडर परफॉर्मर, है ना. तो अपने आप को चैलेंज करो तो सब अच्छा लगेगा. हरे कृष्ण.
थैंक यू महाराज. हरे कृष्ण महाराज.
हरे कृष्ण. All right. So, anyone else wants to say something? अच्छा, Natal.
Hare Krishna, Pranam.
Hare Krishna. We have barely begun today.
Shri Guru, the last time you spoke on Sri Sikshastakam, you also mentioned that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the latest update, and as every update, like a phone, every update means it's getting better and better. So
Yes.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the latest update, so he's the best. So how come he has appeared in Kali Yuga when people don't have much morals, and so how come we get to have this chance to be blessed to attain Radha Dasyam?
Very good. Yes, this question very for most devotees or even stalwarts, it would be difficult to give answer to your question. When we also contemplated on this question, it's purely by the mercy of Guru Maharaj. Whatever little understanding we have, only by Kripa is given to us, we'll share. So Mahaprabhu has come to give this priceless gift, correct? And so whosoever he comes to give, there are so many boons as we study when people do austerity and they aspire to have the darshan of the Lord. In Bhagavatam we see many studies, and the Lord appears, and whatever boons they want, they give. And in order to gain something, if something is necessary, then people are ready to do that austerity. But if the benediction or if the gift is priceless, who can be given that free gift to them? Somebody has to qualify to get the free gift, correct? So who will qualify for the free gift? So if Mahaprabhu came in other ages, suppose Dwapara, Treta, or Krishna is independent, he can just give free gift to anybody. But even free gift, if it is priceless, it has to be free, correct? You get the point? If something is priceless, no matter how much wealth or means or capacity or qualification one may have, can he get it if something is priceless? Priceless thing has to be given free. So in other yugas, even if the Lord came, oh, I have come to give you something priceless thing, are you ready for it? So the people of other yugas say, yes, Lord, what we have to do, tell us. How long we have to do austerity, how many vratas or vows we have to take to get it. And Mahaprabhu, no, I want to give you, don't understand. It is priceless. You have to declare yourself bankrupt. So it was difficult for the people of other ages, They had so much mental strength, the sense control, bodily strength, and determination, the pranayam, yatpad pansur bahu janma krichatro, dhritatmi dhir yogi bhir apya, such a yoga shakti, such austerity, remaining in the open, in the cold or wind, whatever situation, tremendous meditative capacity to achieve something. They were ready to do anything. So Krishna said, no, they want value because they think they can purchase anything through the power of their austerity, power of their capacity and all these things. So Mahaprabhu could not give them. But in Kali Yuga, the circumstances are such that people become overwhelmed by so many situations, become overwhelmed. And exhausted, bankrupt. So when a person becomes bankrupt, what he does? Hands up. So Mahaprabhu is showing the path of Sharanagati. You just declare that Yogyata vichari kichu nahi yaar. I have no qualification. I'm totally, bereft of anything, any shelter, anything. Oh Lord, you are my only shelter. Hari ko Harinam, one who becomes exhausted, one who becomes, defeated by the circumstance, he's ready to accept anything, So the glory of the holy name, that one chanting can free someone from all the sinful or all the obstacles, and one chanting can endear one to the Supreme Lord. So this kind of glory of the holy name, one name can deliver you the benediction of all the benediction one receives by performing so much austerity for so long. It would be difficult for people of other yugas to appreciate the glory of Sankirtan or the name. And that's why Mahaprabhu did not choose other ages because of the pride of the people. It was essential that people feel so bereft, so shelterless. And you just simply chant and you will be happy. So people, when they are bankrupt, they are ready to accept anything very easily, correct? Compared to those who are so much, they will think they will not be able to accept the price is free. People are not used to taking free things in the other ages. But priceless thing has to be given free because nobody has the price. So as long as a person would think that I can pay the price for anything, then he remains unqualified. And one who declares his bankruptcy, then anything comes, he can accept as kripa. So the thing which Mahaprabhu has come to give, it has to be honored as kripa, not by qualification. And so the people in Kali Yuga, they need a lot of mercy. They can definitely appreciate the priceless thing because coming as mercy only. Others would not be able to appreciate that way. And that's why Mahaprabhu chose this age. Well, so we have appeared also in this age, so we should be ready to take the priceless thing with both hands. We have only two hands, correct? So at least we can engage both hands. That should be something. Welcome.
Radhe Radhe Maharaj.
Krishna Bhavana ji. Kaho.
Thank you so much. This was a much awaited topic.
So
And
let me ask. So Natali, anything else?
sorry.
It's all right.
No, thank you, Shri Guru. That was a very nice answer. Thank you.
Yeah, you have to feel that I am bereft of anything. I am bereft of any qualification, bereft of anything. Then the priceless thing, the like vacuum effect, in the vacuum you just get pulled towards it, no? So the vacuum of utter unqualifiedness. Until we come to that stage, we won't be able to feel pulled like a magnet, like a iron gets pulled towards a magnet like this. So that is possible for the Kali Yuga living entities. But even in Kali Yuga also, unless we come to that such appreciation that the priceless thing Mahaprabhu has come to give, there is nothing I can put value to it. So no matter how much value, how much qualification, how much things we have, we cannot think that we can get it through those things. One has to feel utterly helpless and bereft of anything to give. Good question. Welcome. Kaho Bhavna ji.
So I was saying, thank you so much. This was a much awaited topic for Shravanam, and we have started on such an auspicious day.
Okay.
Thank you so much. It's a very basic question, but I just wanted to get my fundamentals right. जब हम चैतन्य चरितमृत पढ़ते हैं,
Can you speak in English so that everybody can?
Okay. So when we read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the very last chapter, under the prayers, the Sikshastakam is been mentioned over there. But when we read the chapter, there is a certain flow, and these slokas are embedded over there. It is not like continuous one, and it has been said that this 8 are the Sikshastakam shlok. So I just wanted to ask that does the group of 8 shlokas by Chaitanya Charitamrita, does it find a mention somewhere else also apart from Chaitanya Charitamrita? One question. And the second question is, after this, does it find any mention in the Shad Sandarbhas also?
Well, reference of Sikshastakam is everywhere, because originally this came from the lotus mouth of Mahaprabhu. And in that sequence, Mahaprabhu is not only reciting, elaborating on them, and relishing the glory of chanting, basically. And through Sikshastakam, establishing all these 3 things, Samandh Gyan, Abhiday, and Prayojan. And how fascinating is the Prayojan? In Srimad Bhagavatam also, the Prayojan is put in the center. Generally we say Samandh, Abhiday, Prayojan, but if you study Srimad Bhagavatam, Prayojan is mentioned first. Then, in order to once the fascination for the Prayojan is there, then the Abhideya. Okay. Because if Abhideya is given without exposing the Prayojan, what you are going to get by following this path of pure devotional service? You will have love of God, You will be able to experience the sweetness of the divine couple, experiencing the service of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Because in this Manjari Bhav Upasana, our aspiration, our Ishta is Srimati Radharani. And Radharani is the essence of God. Radharani is the essence of Krishna. Krishna is God, Radharani is also God. But Radharani is called the better half. Why she is called better half? Because she is better. If you study Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Rasoham apsu konteya prabhasmi shashi suryo pranavah sarva vedeshu shabdah khe paurusham nishu. तो भगवान कहते हैं, कृष्णा से रसोहम अपसु कौन से, I am the taste in water. So now my question is it taste from water or water from taste? This is for contemplation of everybody. Rasoham apsu konteya prabhasmi shashi suryo. प्रभास्मी मतलब प्रभा, लाइट. लाइट से शशि सूर्य है, सूर्य से शशि लाइट है. पानी से स्वाद है या स्वाद से पानी है? प्रणव है सर्व वेदेषु. सभी वेदों में मैं प्रणव हूं, ओमकार हूं ना. तो वेद से ओमकार है या ओमकार से वेद है? शब्द है खे. I am the sound in the sky. So sky is from sound or sound is from sky? Paurusham Nishib. I'm the Paurusham, or the vigor in the human being, in the main. So Purush is called, Purush is from Shakti, or the vigor, or from vigor Purusha, no? So this is for contemplation. So you want to say something?
So the existence is because of the essence, because of the core. So the core is important.
Core is the source. Correct? When Krishna says, I am the taste in water, if you remove the taste, it is no more water. It is to taste, you know. So in the same way, Radharani is the essence of God. इसलिए कहते राधा के बिना श्याम आधा. So Radharani is the Atma. Radha is the soul of God. And that's why Atmaram Bhagwan कहलाते हैं, because one who takes pleasure remain engrossed in one's soul. So that is Srimati Radharani. Anyway, that was the point. So Mahaprabhu knows that Radharani is the treasure of experiencing the sweetness of Krishna. So he wants to take us to the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Because even by directly associating with Krishna, we may not experience in our capacity hardly the sweetness of Krishna. But when we become confidential of Srimati Radharani, then by her inconceivable kripa, she can make us experience the sweetness and beauty of Krishna on her level without being her. So one should become confidential, subservient, maid servant of Srimati Radharani rather than trying to become Radharani, correct? Because nobody can become Radharani. Radharani is the exclusive position. But to become her maid servant, it is that possibility, that availability is for all of us. So that supreme fortune is unlimited. When there is when the fortune is limited, people fight and have the competition. Only 5 people can have that position out of 800 billion. How much competition and struggle and rasakasi, ghusa-ghusi hogi na? So Mahaprabhu's magnanimity is because he has opened the unlimited treasure and everybody can have it. So those who are on this path of Mahaprabhu's parampara, they have the fortune to appreciate amongst themselves each other's same fortune. Everybody is a would-be gold medalist. This concept must be appreciated. If you go ahead of us, it's not that you will get the gold medal and we will be bereft of it. No, for everybody, the gold medal is awaiting. So how eager we are for it, So if someone appears to be more eager, we should encourage. That person should be the source of inspiration for us. And if somebody is lagging behind, we should pull them. तुम पीछे क्यों रह रहे हो? चलो आगे चलो, हमसे भी आगे चलो. By promoting others, we are not left behind. Rather, only by promoting others, we are promoted. On this path, there is no space or time for self-promotion, because only by promoting others, we are registered in the merciful glance of Krishna or the divine couple or Srimati Radharani. So we cannot afford to be miser on this path. We have to be very liberal. Just as Radharani is most liberal, Mahaprabhu is most liberal. We can start to be liberal. Liberal means not trying to lord over others, appreciating others also with the equal opportunity. Everybody has equal opportunity on this path. We don't want to become like someone or anyone. We only want to become a purest devotee. We only aspire to attain the Kainkaryatva or maid servanthood of Srimati Radharani. So it is available for you also, and everybody. Then why should be there any conflict of interest? So the fortune which Mahaprabhu has exposed is unlimited, and we all can have the same because it is variegated, but the fortune is the same. All right.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
If anything is left, you can address.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam, Shri Guru. Although it is very late now, but we have a question from one of the devotee, and she requested us to ask the question to you.
Please.
Question is from Kamanga Harini Devidasi.
Yes, sir. I think she is participating, na?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome. What is the question?
So her message is, Shri Guru, thank you so much. Please ask this for me. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Thank you so much for a wonderful class. Maharaj, my question is, what made Mahaprabhu give us this topmost mood of worship of Radha Dasyam? Surely, his advent was for the fulfillment of his three main desires. So after he relished the sweetness of Radharani's love for Krishna, what made him to give us the mood of Manjaris? Can you please explain?
Because the fortune of Manjaris, fortune is Manjari, to aspire for the fortune as a Manjari is within, it is in accordance to our Swarupa. It is not out of place, Rather, the most confidential service. Who has the highest service? One who is most confidential. So Mahaprabhu exposed that Manjaris are the most confidential servants of the divine couple because they are so devoted to Radharani. Their primary identity is from Srimati Radharani. They are called Radharani's Kinkaris. And because Radharani's service to Krishna, lot of help is needed, na? Radharani becomes overwhelmed. Radharani has so much variegatedness of his how. So sometimes Radharani is her own mood or her man becomes an obstacle to fulfill her own desire to serve and please Krishna. So who will handle and who will pull out Radharani from the impasses self-created by herself, So Mahaprabhu, he thinks that service in subservience, not hankering to be the associate of Krishna. This is a big sacrifice, correct? Previous to Mahaprabhu, we all think that if somebody can become a consort of Krishna is the highest. You cannot imagine to have a higher fortune than that, correct? So even Mirabai had to leave Vrindavan, because why one has to leave Vrindavan? how can there be anything greater fortune than which is available for the Brajavasis? No? And that's why, so Mahaprabhu has come, how we can become the Brajavasi of the highest nature, of highest seva sobhagya. In position, Sakhis are like superior than the Manjaris, but in confidential service, they are the closest to Radharani. So one who is closest to the east is the highest. Na? So if Mahaprabhu has exposed that possibility, that's why he's called Mahavadanya, the highest possible Sobhagya, Seva Sobhagya. It's something which is within our adhikar. We should aspire only for that. Na? Somebody say, oh, why I cannot become the consort of Krishna? Well, if you insist, Krishna will just... but that is not where you experience the highest sweetness of Krishna, correct? The whole idea is, when Krishna wants to give you something, you cannot excel it. You cannot imagine to desire anything better or greater than that. So Mahaprabhu is God, he is Krishna himself. And after he fulfilled his own personal desires, then he opened the fortune, exposed the fortune for the living entities also. You know, when a person is unfulfilled due to something, we cannot expect him to be so liberal, correct? So that's why Shyam Sundar was not that liberal. He just kept that, he just shared his sweetness in the Nikunja, in Brajalila, etc. But the fortune which is possible to be made available for the living entities is this Radha Dashyam. It's not that Radha Dashyam is foreign thing. Radharani's kinkaris are there, na? So, through anugatya, through this subservience, by taking shelter of those Sakhis and Manjaris, we can become blessed, because they will also love to share their fortune with us. If somebody is very fortunate, correct? If somebody becomes very subservient and very loyally devoted to him or her, would that person not share all fortune with them? But in the material world, nobody wants to take shelter. No? Nobody wants to become a servant. The so-called service is only eventually to become the boss and the master and the enjoyer. So in Radha Dashyam, total loyalty to the service of Radharani, how to help her, rather than trying to serve Krishna directly. Because Krishna appreciates, Krishna loves or receives, accepts and honors the service of Radharani. So to be a maid servant of one whose service Krishna loves the most would be most blessed. No? This is what Krishna wants to give us. Mahaprabhu has come to give us. So Mahaprabhu has exposed this possibility that the joy which Radharani experiences, because she is the Parama Naika. Radharani is the only Naika. And Krishna is the only Nayak. And their loving engrossment is the only truth, or the absolute truth. For everyone else, the role is only to serve them. So those who want to serve their Vilas Leela, you have to very much appreciate the fortune of those who are having that fortune of serving them. So Mahaprabhu says that in Anugatyamayi Seva, our nature of service is Anugatyamayi. We don't serve just putting everybody aside. I'm the best servant. No. This is a path of Das, Dasanu, 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 Dasi. So if you are able to appreciate the fortune of those, then only by Kripa we will be made qualified. We don't become qualified. We will be made qualified. We will be made eligible. We don't become eligible. We become blessed with the eligibility. It is bestowed upon. It is given to us. So if you develop that mood of Dasi, Dasinu, Dasi, then everything would be fully appreciated. So that is the answer to her question. Do we appreciate to become Dasinu, Dasinu, Dasi? When Mahaprabhu says, Gopi bhartu pad kamalayo das dasanu das, what does it mean? Gopi bhartu. So, who is Gopi bhartu? Krishna. And Krishna is the bhartu, or the maintainer of the Gopi, the supreme Gopi Radharani. So Krishna's servant is Gopi. Then who can be Gopi's servant? Das or Dasi? Only Dasi can be the servant of a Dasi or Gopi. That way, Gopi bhartu pada kamalayo das dasanu das ultimately means Gopi bhartu pada kamalayo das dasanu dasi. Ultimately. So only by becoming, by appreciating our subordination to Srimati Radharani, we can become blessed. Blessed with the experiencing the sweetness of Krishna. On the level even of Radharani, because she can make us experience. No? Otherwise, no matter how much so-called qualified you can become, we remain only unqualified. But through subservience, when we accept the anugatya of someone, you can attain the fortune which you cannot attain in trillion lifetimes by your own endeavor. Correct? If suppose somebody is a trillionaire or billionaire, if you serve that person and cater to his needs more than even his own people can, then he can just transfer his whole fortune to you, correct? Such a big fortune that you cannot imagine to earn even 100 lifetimes, So how much we value the status of the person we can become subservient to. Ultimately, it will come down to this point. It's very difficult for a conditioned soul to accept the subservience of anyone. Because his intelligence will make him calculative. But when our appraisal of somebody's divine nature or status, it goes beyond our intellectual calculation, then we surrender. So that's why this is a path of subservience, anugatya. So anugatya mein Rupa Goswami isse bolte ki swato vare. But when we realize, in our heart, when we appreciate somebody's spiritual status so high, then rather than equaling, we only want to become subservient. We want to become blessed. Then our life becomes successful. But without identifying such a most blessed person, we will still be shopping, So connection in this path is with a devotee. We can very happily and very willingly accept the subservience of. It's very individual, very subjective, and as much faith one gains, accordingly he progresses. Yadrishi yadrishi shraddha siddhir bhavati tadrishi. All right?
Thank you so much, Maharajji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, welcome.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru. Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for the wonderful class, Shri Guru. We are all eternally indebted. We will chant 3 times all Hare Krishna Mahamantra in order to honor Shri Guru. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
We call out from the heart, Param Pujya, His Holiness Bhaktiswarupa Govind Maharaj ki Jai.
Tamami
जय हो जय हो जय जय गुरुदेव
Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru.
Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Dandavat Pranam, Shri Guru.
Sri Swamini Mati Rastu, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol.
हरे कृष्णा दंडवत प्रणाम गुरुदेव
Welcome everybody. Sri Swamini Mati Rastu, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol.
Shri Guru. We hear in scriptures in Srimad Bhagavatam and elsewhere, Mahaprabhu is the Channa avatar, is the covered incarnation, as they say. And Mahaprabhu's personality, what is he giving internally, externally, and like that. Shri Guru, consider myself very, very fortunate and blessed, and don't know how, but it is purely your mercy, Shri Guru. How you have appeared in our lives and completely uncovering the any bit of cowardness of Mahaprabhu, whatever he was trying to, in many places we see not reveal himself or this, but you are leaving no scope, Sri Guru, to take us to the ultimate divine realm and share the purest nectar of Mahaprabhu in the purest sense altogether. Sadhan, sadhya, what to practice, how to practice, what to aim from, all in complete package, and each and every sentence of yours, Shri Guru, each and every word of yours is purely taking us to the Nikunja realm, Nikunj Seva. Since eternity, Shri Guru, I have been depriving myself. I pray for your mercy, Shri Guru. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Shri Guru.
Sri Swamini Mati Rastu, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol. Stay tuned in. That's all. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol.